In this slightly longer video, we will discuss how a write operation takes place in Elasticsearch cluster. Till now, we have discussed how an Elasticsearch index can be broken down into many shards which are spread across the nodes in a cluster. Now we will see the internal structure of each such shard. In this diagram, we can see that we have a certain Elasticsearch index which comprises of two shards. Each shard in itself is a Lucene index that we have discussed. But each of these Lucene index in itself comprises of a more basic unit of data, which is segment. So just as an Elasticsearch index comprises of many shards, each of such shard will comprise of multiple Lucene indexes. In this next diagram, we can easily see the layered structure of an Elasticsearch index. So here we can see that the most basic of the architectural unit here is a Lucene segment, and a Lucene index is just an abstraction built over many segments. Each segment in itself is an inverted index and has searching as well as indexing capabilities. Above the segments are Lucene indices, and the elastic shard is nothing but an abstraction built over the layer of a Lucene index. And the abstraction built over many such elastic shards comprises an Elasticsearch index. So for Elasticsearch, the basic unit of storage is a shard, but for Lucene, the basic unit of storage of the inverted index is a segment. Each segment in itself is an inverted index and has all the capabilities of indexing and searching. New documents, if I want to add, say I have indexed 10 documents and I want to add 5 more, they will be created in a new segment, because once a segment is created in Lucene, it is immutable. Segments are in memory, and this data is later persisted at appropriate time to disk. Segments are immutable. Now what happens when we receive a write request from a client on the Elasticsearch cluster? The node with which the client directly talks to is called the coordination node. So the coordination node will give this document a particular ID, or the document might already have a kind of a unique ID, and then it will hash the ID. As far as I remember, the murmur3 hash is used here, but we can discuss that more in detail later. So once the document ID is hashed, then the hash is divided by the number of primary shards. So if we get a hash, say like 1855, and we have the total number of primary shards as 10, then this document will be sent to writing to shard number 5. All nodes know where a particular shard exists, and document is passed to a node which contains that particular shard. So now we know that this document with this ID is to be written on this shard, and then this write request and this document will be passed to that particular shard. Now let us try to understand a very important concept which is called translog, which is essentially a shorter word for transaction log, or a concept called write ahead log in databases. Here I have the content straight from the Elasticsearch documentation. Let us try to understand this word by word or line by line. So what it says here is this. Essentially, how a data is written to disk, it is written to disk by means of a Lucene commit, and this Lucene commit is relatively a very expensive operation, and therefore for each index or delete or update CRUD request, it cannot be performed because it is an expensive operation and will tend to consume other resources and will bring down the efficiency of search. So what happens when we send a write request to an Elasticsearch shard or a Lucene shard, or I meant a Lucene index. So a couple of things happen at this time, but the most important of this is that this particular transaction is written or recorded into the translog. Now, this translog has essentially recorded that some kind of a change has been done in the state of the index. And once this operation is done in the primary shard, this translog is f-synced, or this translog is essentially synced in all the replica shards. And when the translog gets bigger, or after a certain amount of time, say 30 minutes, all these changes which are in the translog are all of them together are committed in the Lucene commit and stored on disk. In this way, the frequency of write operations or the Lucene commit, which is very resource expensive, is brought down. Now here someone may have the question, what if the very shard or the node containing the shard which is primary and contains the translog, which changes that have not been committed goes down? What will happen in that case? So that is exactly the reason why we have replicas of each shard. And as soon as we write in a translog, this translog is synced across all the replica shards, and only then is the client told that, yeah, okay, now whatever data you have sent for indexing, yes, it is indexed. So unless it is written to the translog in the primary, and unless the same translog is reproduced in all the replicas, we cannot tell the client that yes, your indexing request or your write request is successful. And so in this way, the translog greatly increases the fault tolerance of the Elasticsearch cluster. The source of this image on the left is on the Elasticsearch official documentation. Parallelly, as we are writing about the request in the translog, we also put the contents of the document into a memory buffer. So the request is written to the translog and the document is added to the memory buffer, which stores all the newly indexed documents. Please note that at this time, these documents are not searchable. That is, you cannot read these documents. If you send a read request, your new documents will not be able to be read. So if this request is successful on the primary shard, the request is parallelly sent to the replica shards. So there is a concept of in-sync shards which are in sync with the primary. So this f-sync of the translog, it need not happen in all the replica shards, but there are a certain so-called set of good replica shards which are always in sync with the primary shard. So that is the minimum quorum which is required so that we can tell the client, yes, my dear client, now your request is successfully written. The client receives acknowledgement that the request was successful only after the translog is f-synced on all the primary and in-sync shards. Here we have a diagrammatic representation of the same. Here we can see that there are new documents which are coming here for indexing, and here we can see that the same request is written in the translog as well as the documents are written in the in-memory buffer. Now the refresh operation is something which makes it possible for us to finally be able to read the data or the documents that we have just written in the Elasticsearch index. So this operation by default is executed every second in Elasticsearch. And what happens when the refresh takes place? The in-memory contents are copied to a newly created segment in memory, that is a Lucene segment, as we were discussing some slides ago. And the contents of this in-memory buffer are flushed away, they are let go of, and as a result, the new data becomes available for search. Here again, we see in the form of a diagram that the new documents are written both to the translog and in an in-memory buffer. And when the refresh operation takes place, the buffer contents are being copied to an in-memory segment of Lucene. And from here, when a read request will come or a search request will come, then it can be fulfilled because this data is now essentially available to Elasticsearch for reading from the Lucene segment. So Elasticsearch only reads from such a Lucene segment or from its own shards, which are nothing but an abstraction over such a Lucene segment. And now finally we will see about the flush operation, which is the final step in this long pipeline of writing our documents to Elasticsearch. Flush essentially means that all the documents in the in-memory buffer are written to new Lucene segments. These, along with existing in-memory segments, are committed to disk, which clears the translog. The commit is essentially a Lucene commit. So now, what will happen when we do a flush operation? Two very important things will happen. Firstly, the contents of the in-memory buffer will be written to new Lucene segments. And then what will happen is that this Lucene segment will be picked up and this data will be committed into memory to disk, which, mind you, is the most expensive operation as far as Lucene is concerned. So here we can see that this writing to disk has been delayed and deferred, and there is a kind of buffering in the form of this memory buffer and then in the form of segments. And when we get a large enough translog, or when a certain amount of time has passed, we write the contents of the present contents of the in-memory buffer and all the segments that have been created so far but have not been committed till the previous Lucene commit, and these are committed now, and our index is up to date at this point of time with all the latest changes. And the exact same thing that we discussed can be seen by us in the image on the bottom right corner of the screen. So on the image in the left, we see that the translog is full of all the logs, and there are various segments in Lucene: segment 1, segment 2, segment 3, segment 4. Now at times Lucene, to make the segments more manageable, it may merge the segments into a large segment, because the efficiency really goes down if Lucene has to manage a lot of segments, and the search results might take a lot of latency. So from time to time, Lucene keeps merging the segments, and during a flash operation, it does merge the segments. And then in the image on the right, we see that the translog is absolutely empty, and this new merge segment, the contents of that merge segment, are written to disk. And in this way, persistence is achieved. So that's it for this time. Let's quickly have a verbal recap of what all things we just saw and discussed. Firstly, we saw how a Lucene in how a Elasticsearch shard is a Lucene instance, and this Lucene instance or index in itself comprises of many segments. Then we see how transaction log is keeping track of all the transactions and providing us robustness in and fault tolerance in case any of the nodes go down. Subsequent to that, we saw how any operation is first recorded in the translog, and simultaneously the contents are of the document are written in the memory buffer. Then we saw how by means of the refresh operation, the same contents are written to a Lucene segment in memory, and they are available for searching from this point of time. Lastly, we saw the flush operation in which the segments are combined and written to disk for persistence. That is it for this time. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up below. And if you find the content of my channel helpful, please click subscribe. And also hit the bell icon if you want to be notified about new content. Thank you all for listening.